Hey, welcome into another episode of the Fantasy Headliners. I'm Kyle Richardson. Thanks so much for tuning in to this breakdown of free agent signing Golden Tate to the New York Giants. Just like we've been doing all week long, we've been breaking down these signings for you, telling you how this might affect his fantasy value and others for the 2019 season. Before we get rolling into all this great info, though, if you're already a part of Headliner Nation, thanks so much for subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate it. But if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button for us and let us know in the comments below so we can welcome you to Headliner Nation. We appreciate all of the support. Also, hit that like button if you like the information in this video. Jumping into this, let's talk about Golden Tate. So he's headed to the New York Giants, 4 years, $37.5 million. Like I said, maybe some questions about why this signing was made. I'm not going to question it right now. We'll see what happens, because even if we do question it, the Giants don't seem to have any real answers for anything at this point. So my main concern is the fact that I want to like this signing. I want to like the Giants. I want to like the Giants offense, but I can't like Eli Manning. And if I can't like Eli Manning, how can I tie myself to any one of these players for this season? Speaking specifically about Golden Tate, 2018 wasn't a great season, and really the biggest issue was the fact that just wasn't real great. I mean, he was good. He was good in Detroit up until the trade. He wasn't great or even good afterwards, though, and that wasn't his fault. He played in one more game with the Eagles than he did with the Lions and had almost 300 less receiving yards. It was really just the way he was utilized, coming in, new system, new court, a lot of different things you have to learn when you're traded midseason as a wide receiver. It's worked for some. See Amari Cooper. It hasn't worked for others. See Golden Tate. So because of that, I'm not really looking at 2018 too much because that's an odd season. Let's look at the 4 years prior, the 4 full seasons he was in Detroit. During that time, his average with the Lions, 93 receptions, 1,063 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's per season. Those are really good numbers. Golden Tate, if he would have gotten anywhere between, let's say, 9 to 11 touchdowns a season, 8 to 12 touchdowns a season, Golden Tate would have been a wide receiver one every single year that he was in Detroit. Extremely underrated. I mean, he was looked at as like a PPR guy, but he was never looked at as a guy that you want to spend a decent round pick on because he's consistent. No one really ever gave him that kind of value, but he always delivered while he was in Detroit, and that was what was so great about owning him. One of the things that makes him a really good wide receiver, and why he was really, really good in Detroit, it's the yards after the catch. So it's not so much the catch itself, it's what he does after he catches the ball. For 4 full seasons in Detroit, starting from 2014, he was first, fourth, second, and first in yards after the catch. That was amongst wide receivers in the NFL. So he was one of the best when he gets the ball in his hands, making people miss, gaining extra yards. And I think that's going to help in New York, especially with how much they're going to be playing from behind, more than likely. They're going to need somebody that can pick up those extra yards. Golden Tate could be a machine when it comes to garbage time. So think a lot of those fourth quarters where the Giants may be down. Golden Tate and Saquon Barkley are going to see a ton of targets, and both of them can do a lot of things after the catch. So it's not just going to be a 4 or 5 or 3 yard dump or something like that. This is a guy who could, turn a 3 or 4 or 5 yard pass into 10, 15 yards. That's how good he is at making people miss and getting those extra yards. And that's why I like him. Now, we'll see how the dynamic works between him and Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard with OBJ there, you think a guy can play in the slot, can play outside a little bit as well, but looks like he'll fully shift to being outside at this point, and Golden Tate will fit into the slot. If you told me right now, Kyle, you have to make a decision. You have to put your name on it. I'm going to take Golden Tate over Sterling Shepard in 2019. For number one, for the reason that I just listed a minute ago. Number two, in PPR leagues, I do think Tate has the potential to see better volume than Sterling Shepard will. And there's just going to be so many targets, so many opportunities for Saquon Barkley. And then you have Evan Ingram, and then you have Golden Tate, and then you have Sterling Shepard. But Sterling Shepard, I could see him fluctuate because he's going to be a guy that they're going to be asking, can you stretch the field a little bit? Can you do these different things? And Eli Manning he isn't that good anymore. You could probably argue, some of you want to argue that he was never that good, but that's a different show. We'll leave that to a different time. With all that being said, though, that's why I would take Golden Tate over Sterling Shepard right now. I think it could end up being close. Again, I think PPR, Tate's the definite pick for me. Half PPR, probably. Standard, you might get a little bit close. I think Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley will be the guys with the touchdowns. Golden Tate probably will still average right around 4, maybe 5, something like that. But as far as just overall value goes, I can't really pick up anyone other than Barkley. But let me know, what are you thinking? So obviously we're one of the most interactive channels on YouTube. If you're here, if you've been here for our shows before, but if you're new, if you comment, we respond. So use the comments below and tell me what you are doing with the New York Giants offense outside of Saquon Barkley this year. Are you buying Tate? Are you buying Shepard? Are you buying Ingram? Do you think they can be consistent? Do you think they can be true fantasy producers with Eli Manning that we should have? Because keep in mind, you can like Ingram, you can like Shepard, you can like Tate, but if you like all of those guys, you're going to have to like Eli Manning, because Eli Manning is going to be the one helping them produce. So let us know in the comments below what you're thinking. Again, I don't love this signing. I mean, if they would have invested in a quarterback last year and there was a quarterback taking over this year, OBJ probably wouldn't be gone. Golden Tate, who knows whether he would be here or not. I would like it a little bit more. Part of me thinks, hopes, feels that if the Giants were to take a quarterback this year and Eli Manning is truly awful again, whoever that quarterback is will get a shot at some point this season, and that is when I would start taking a look at trying to own some of these guys again. So we'll see what happens with all that, though. We still got the draft coming up. You know, maybe the Giants will make some smart moves in the draft. We'll see what happens, whether they try to trade up or they reinforce the defense, or maybe they try to get another playmaker. We'll see. But for right now, Golden Tate, newest member of the New York Giants. A guy I'll buy in some PPR leagues, maybe late, but again, I'm not really buying any of the Giants offense at this point because I just don't trust Eli Manning. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Fantasy Headliners. Hit that like button for us if you'd like the video. Appreciate all the support out there, and we'll see you on the next one.